Hello. We cannot just nothing. It's like this morning. There's some people that body. It comes a point to where you can't reach them. You can't reach them. And just because you can't reach them doesn't mean that you can just sit there and do nothing. You have to continue to live your life and prepare in your physical world. We cannot just sit there and do nothing. We can talk. Hello, Apple Books, honey. We can talk. Say we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We can do that all day long, but if there is no action that follows the do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this done. No, we can't just sit there and do nothing. We can't just do nothing. We got to do something. You got to be proactive. Whatever it is you got to do, because it's not going to get done itself. It's not, I promise you, whatever needs to get done, just you talking about it is not going to get it done. You're going to have to take steps toward it. Steps toward getting whatever it is that you need to get done. Are we no idea how this got stuck on the other Wi-Fi? This signal should be doing a lot better, so it should not be as buffering as much as it is right now. Hello, you all. We just can't do nothing. Okay, we can't just, think, okay, I tried to warn the people. Just like I'm not going to do nothing now. But you got to do something. You got to do something that you feel within your spirit you need to do for yourself. Okay, you do. Just don't let it get you down to the point to where you're paralyzed and you don't want to do nothing at all. It can be very disappointing when you're trying to tell people, when you're trying to warn people and all of that. It can be very, very disappointing, and it could literally kind of like pop your bubble, especially if it's like loved ones, your loved ones and stuff like that, because that's the last thing you want. Rosie? They don't know where Rosie's at. She's out here somewhere. Hello, Susan B. Honey. If you didn't see this morning's video, which I have a feeling that it kind of got shadow banned, this morning's video about I can't even remember the title of it. You can't save everybody. You can't. There comes a point where you just have to say, okay, is enough enough? It's enough. I can't do it no more, because they're not all going to listen. They're not all going to listen. And you've done whatever you needed to do. And you need to continue on. Just don't let it stop there. Continue on. Continue on. Move on. Wipe the dust off your feet and keep walking. Don't just let it sit there and keep you at a standstill. Please don't do that, because it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to do me any good to just be at a standstill in my life. It's not. We've got to keep going. We got to set the example. And I can assure you, the people that, you tried to warn, no matter what it was, and they did not want to listen, you've got to continue doing what you do. You can set the example. Practice what you preach, more or less. Put your words into action. Let them watch you as you're saying what they need to do, what they should do, what's happening. Let them watch you. You need to be the example, because they're still going to watch you. Even though they're not going to listen to you, they're still going to watch what you do. It's going to literally get solidified and embedded within their mind. And it doesn't matter if they think, oh, well, this person's done lost it. Look at them. They think this is going to happen. They think that's going to happen. Look at them preparing. It's kind of like Noah building the ark. Noah building the ark. He warned them. He did warn them. Noah warned the people. But they made fun of him. They did, up until the day the rain started falling and the door was closed. It was closed, and then they sat and watched the whole entire time, and they were warned, and they did not heed the warning. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Could you imagine if, like Noah, doing all the warnings, saying it's going to rain, it's going to flood, we got to get this ready. If all he said was that and didn't do anything, could you imagine that? It wouldn't be a good example. They wouldn't even have a visual to look at. But he didn't. He just did it even though he couldn't see it right then and there. Yeah, that's like that. Even though even though it's not happening right now, right in people's faces, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It means that it is happening, it is coming, it is steady, it is slow, it's steady, it's slow, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Perhaps that's why people don't see it, because it's so slow. It's so slow, they don't even notice it. When you're telling them, they can't even notice it because it's happening very, very slowly, real slow. And it's not right in their face. It's not right in their face. It's not. If you're just tuning in, this kind of goes with this morning's video. We can't just do nothing. You got to set the example. You've got to set the example. And hopefully, those people you tried to warn in the way that you did, hopefully they'll watch you, and then they'll see something, some events, they'll hear about something, and they'll see something happening, and then they'll be able to connect the dots. They'll be able to connect the dots. And it will form the picture in their mind, and they're liable to say, oh my goodness gracious, they're right. I need to get ready. It's kind of like it's kind of like those the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. And when it came time out to meet the bridegroom, the wise ones took their lamps and their oil, and the other ones just took their lamps. And then when it came time to wait, they wanted the wise one to give them some of their oil. And the wise ones said, no, because there may not be enough for us and you. Go to them who sell and go buy. Go to them who sell and go buy. And while they were away, the bridegroom came, and they didn't go in. They did not go in, you all. You can't just sit there and do nothing. You've got to do something. You've got to let your words and your actions match. You've got to connect the two together, because it doesn't work if you do not set the example. If you do not do what you say, you're not setting the example. There is no example for them to follow. It's like you're in a classroom. They'll do an example of how you do like a math problem. They'll show you how to do something, how you work out the problems. They're going to give you an example. And could you imagine if you didn't have an example? What steps you needed to take to solve the math problem, to work the math problem? How would they know? Because not everybody's going to know. They got to see it worked out. They got to see you do it. It's like this. This is how it is with life. People are imitators of others. They are. They're imitators. They watch other people, and they learn. They watch and learn. You can tell that. All you have to do is look around. People watch and learn from others, whether it's for good or whether it's for bad. We've got bad examples out there, and we've got good examples. Even though you've warned people and they don't want to listen, you still got to set the example. You still got to do it. And it's okay. You just keep on doing it. It doesn't matter what they think. Just keep on doing it. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. You got to do it. You got to set the example. You got to do what you say. It doesn't matter if people don't want to listen. Don't let that stop you from preparing. Do not let that stop you one single bit. Don't. Because you just can't stop, because if they're sitting there thinking, well, they're telling me to do this and they're doing nothing. I don't see them doing anything. They're doing nothing. They're just sitting there. They're doing nothing. No, don't let them see you like that. Do not let them see you like that doing nothing. You've never seen anything like it. Let me see some of the comments on here. Susan, it is true. It's really true. If you're just tuning in, it's true. You got to back up your words with action. That's what you got to do. Otherwise, there's nothing to your words. They're not, they can be words that have the power of life and death, words that can change, But those words have got to have some action that is attached to them. Your words can go out, and then the actions can follow. Sometimes people are silent and their actions speak louder than their words. They don't even have to say anything. People can observe you preparing, observe you doing whatever it is that you've said before. You don't even have to say a word, because at this point, when they're watching you, they know. They know. They see you doing what you said without you even having to say another single word to them. And those words got to be backed up by the Holy Spirit. That's right. Faith without, what is it? Faith without works is dead. There you go. Faith without works is dead. You've got to put it into action. You've got to put your words into action. And if you're led by the Spirit, you will do what the Spirit wants you to. You will. But if you're led by the one nature, you're going to do exactly what that nature wants you to do. You just jumped in. Lucy, honey, it's an inner preparedness. That's right. Right on the inside. I've been saying it for years. I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been saying it for around 5 years. You got to get yourself prepared on the inside for what's coming. And even though you've warned people about what's coming, and you've warned a lot of people about what's coming in your own way, and sometimes those people did not listen, but then they'll listen to someone else. You just got to do whatever you feel led within your spirit to do. But there comes a time when you may feel like my words are just literally went in one ear and out the other. And chances are at times they do. They go in one ear and out the other. And sometimes you let other people's words go in one ear and out the other too. I do it too. When you tell someone something, and then when you try to speak to them, you just don't want to listen, but they want you to listen to them. They do. They want you to listen to them. And it gets to the point too where you're thinking, no, it's just like a resounding gong. Resounding gong. You get to the point when you tune people out, and people get to the point where they tune you out. It's the exact opposite. It goes back and forth. It's like a teeter-totter like that. You can't just sit there and do nothing. You've got to back your words up with some actions. You do. Sometimes your words are all that need to be said in some instances. That's in some instances. It all depends on what you're trying to tell people. Sometimes. But then the actions, when people don't even want to hear you speak, they may not want to hear nothing. They want to see. They want to see you do. They want to see it. They want to see you do what you say without saying another word. Let's see you do it. Show me how it's done. You can do it. You can do it. You can't just sit there and do nothing. People are watching you. I promise you. People are watching everything you do, whether you realize it or not. And that could be for the better, and that could be for the worse. And no, it's like that. It's like that. You wish you were my neighbor. Well, we don't really talk to our neighbors out here in the country because you're so spread out. So you have to get used to a life of, I don't know, solitude, more or less. It's not for everybody living out in the country. It's not. Some people are city folks. Some people may try it for a little bit, and then they just can't stand the solitude. They want to be near the city. It's all right. It's all right. It really is. I am going to be going. So we can't just sit there and do nothing. You can't just sit there and keep your mouth closed when you know you need to open your mouth and your heart is pounding inside your chest. You need to open your mouth and you need to say something, and you say, no, I'm not going to say it, and your heart pounds even more. Whoever this is for. I mean, your heart is pounding inside your chest and you know you need to open your mouth and say something, or you need to do something and you refuse to do it, and your chest is literally pound, 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 pound. Your heart is pounding inside your chest. When you ignore that pounding, when you ignore it, you know what happens. It only gets stronger until you do that which your spirit is telling you to do. This could be good or it could be bad. It could. But I'm speaking of the good that you're supposed to do. If your heart is pounding, you know you need to speak up, you know you need to do something, you keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and your conscience is speaking to you. When your conscience speaks to you and you ignore that conscience, you're not going to get any rest. You will not get any rest if your conscience can still speak to you. It will not let you rest until you say or until you do what you're supposed to do. You can't run from it. You cannot run from it. You can't. There are some whose conscience is seared with a hot iron. Their conscience don't speak to them. And when their conscience does speak to them, and out the other. And out the other. Totally, totally ignore it. There's a detachment there. There is. How do we get on that? Yeah. When you're led by the Spirit, you'll know it. You'll know it. You'll feel it within your being. When you're led to say something, you know you better say it, because you're not going to be, your spirit is not going to be at peace until you say what you're supposed to say or do what you're supposed to do. It's not. We got to prepare ourselves on the inside. And sometimes you've got to speak up even when you don't want to speak up. No matter how strange it may be, sometimes you have got to speak up when you don't want to speak up. But you know you have to. Why? Because greater is that is in you than in the world. That's why. That's why. I am going to go. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing. And to everyone who has subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. And thank you very much for joining this channel. And you may not agree with everything I say or do. I'm all over the place. I really am. But that's just me. And I know I probably don't agree with everything that everyone else may type in on here. I may not. But if I do, that's great. If I don't, that's fine too. That's fine. I can still be respectful and considerate and loving. I can. I'm going to go. Thank you, moderators. Thank you all for your comments. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. I guess it's afternoon now. And please consider giving this video a thumbs up and check out this morning's video. There was a video that we did yesterday afternoon about something is off. Something feels way off, and it's still that something that feels way off. That's why you've got to prepare. You've got to prepare on the inside. You got to get stronger. I've got to get stronger. I've got to grow stronger. You've got to grow stronger in your spirit. That's where your strength is going to come from, on the inside of here. You're so very welcome. You are. It's kind of cold out here. And if you've had a long day, and but you pressed through it, I'm happy that you did press through it. I really am. Because sometimes our days, they get really long and they get really hard to, you go through a lot in one day. And it's very challenging, and you may not like it, but you keep pressing on. It's good. It's good that you pressed on through whatever it is that you had to face today. And it probably was really bad for some people, but you didn't give up. You made it through the day. You did. Is somebody getting themselves in trouble by our apple bricks, honey? You might. Yeah. I'm going to go. You all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. And thank you so much for listening and watching this video. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It is so greatly appreciated. On your way out. Love you. Thank you, moderators.